Greetings to all of you. You're about to watch a video that I recorded earlier this week about the upcoming new moon on January 29th. And I just want to add a few words as I'm introducing that video now on January 21st. This is a turbulent time in the world, and I know those of us living in the US feel like we're moving in to a turbulent year together, a stormy year. And that's actually playing out all over the globe. We're in an intense time where we have the juxtaposition of the energies of the earth and sky, the consciousness of the cosmos, calling us into an evolutionary leap as humanity into higher consciousness. And we're seeing on the planet some of the most intense shadow aspects of our experience of humanity as we've been in a phase of separation and destruction and self-destruction. This is a part of our journey of consciousness. And part of what is important for us to remember is we have free will as humans, individually and collectively. Those of you who have done readings with me know that I do not see astrology as predictive or deterministic. I don't work with you to look at the transits to see what may be happening to you in the future. My focus is on what were the energies you were born into. What are the energies that you're in now? How can you work with those in the most conscious way to be in alignment with that awareness that we come to have this human experience, to be in our own soul's journey of evolution of consciousness? And for us as humanity, we're collectively in this experience on this planet to be in our own evolution of consciousness. Everything is consciousness. It's such a powerful and profound time. For those of you who haven't seen Dr. David Clements' interview with Pam Gregory, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful interview where he talks about the changes that we're in and how we're being supported by galactic beings like the Pleiadians, the Arcturians. I've talked to Bibhu Dev Misra about the profound meaning of our being on that threshold of coming out of the Kali Yuga, the time of forgetting, the time of separation into higher consciousness. And that threshold is at the end of March 2025. We know that this is a profound time of shift in the precessional cycle. I'll be doing an interview that will be posted next week with Kathleen Kingdon, who is a channeler for the Tibetan master Jwal Khul, who's talking about this profound shift that we're in on the planet, in moving into higher consciousness, spiritually, energetically, emotionally, physically. I'll be putting out in a few days an interview I did with Sean Caulfield, who has studied and worked with and been a friend of Dr. Carl Kalaman for 20 years now. And he's going to be talking with us about what it means from the perspective of the ancient Mayan calendar that we're in the 9th wave of creation. We're moving out of this time of separation back into unity consciousness. As many of you know who've been watching my videos, when I talk about the energies of the lunar cycles, the energies of these powerful planetary transits and energies that we're in this time, you hear how I'm constantly trying to focus on how do we work those energies in the highest conscious way possible, to be aligning with their deeper meaning, their guidance, to be supporting us in this evolutionary journey we're in, individually and collectively. Because if we listen to the messages from the earth and sky, if we listen to the messages from our spirit guides and helpers, if we listen to the consciousness of the cosmos, we are being guided into this extraordinary evolutionary leap of coming back in to alignment with our soul selves, coming back into this awareness of the love and wisdom of and consciousness of all that is, to come back into harmony, balance, truth, justice, all of the paradigms of the Aquarian age that are about inclusivity, equality, harmony, balance with each other, with the earth. But we as humanity have free will. And part of what we're seeing on the planet right now is, as we're in this accelerating shift, we're seeing a profound backlash and resistance and effort by some to cling to the power over paradigms of the past that are characterized by greed, violence, aggression, corruption, cruelty, destruction of the earth. Those paradigms are dying. And we can either release them consciously as humanity and co-create this new future together in alignment with the energies of the earth and sky, or we can resist those energies and be caught in turbulence, and then the earth and cosmos and sky will support us in a reset to come back into balance. The choice is ours. And as we in this community are on a path of consciousness, a path of awakening, a path of moving more and more fully into these paradigms of the Aquarian age of higher consciousness, it can be easy to get overwhelmed at times by the turbulence in the world, by the shadow aspects of humanity that seem to be rising in such a powerful way in this time. It can be easy to get caught in fear or anger or outrage or reactivity or grief. I encourage you to honor all that you feel, but don't get mired in it, and remember the larger trajectory that we're in, and that we can make that choice individually to be supporting that awakening, that healing, that transformation. If we get mired in the fear and reactivity and anger and grief, we actually fuel the turmoil and turbulence on the planet, as Melanie Reinhart so poignantly described in her conversation with me. I don't often share much about my personal journey, in part because I'm probably one of the most introverted private people that I know, and I do have Scorpio rising. And I have not experienced the level of trauma that I know many of you have, and many of you that I've worked with in the past in my role as a therapist. I've also not had to live in the midst of war or some of the collective trauma playing out on the planet right now. But in my own personal journey, I have gone through my own challenges and stresses, and those ways that I know I can get pulled into the underworld in my own fear or despair. I've gone through some very dark times in my life. And I've also gone through some experiences where my life was physically threatened for a period of years. I've gone through some experiences in my life where I was under conscious psychic attack. Those of you who have psychic gifts or have had shamanic training know what that's about. And in those experiences, I could feel the whole range of reactions that I was having: fear, anger, despair, feelings of helplessness or hopelessness. And part of what I realized was important in my own journey was not that I could control what was going to happen to me. I couldn't control the outcome. I couldn't control anyone else's behavior or actions, but I could control my response and my actions. And a mantra that has become, or a quote that's become important to me for most of my adult life now, is that quote, "Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the willingness to be afraid and act anyway. Part of my own journey of evolution of consciousness has been that realization that I could choose to be controlled by fear. I could choose to get caught in my own reactivity, or I could choose to feel all those things, but keep coming back to center, keep coming back into that alignment with my soul self while holding compassion for my human self that sometimes was having a freak out. But I could keep coming back to what is my path and purpose in this lifetime? Why am I here? Who am I really? And keep coming back into that alignment with my deeper knowing, with my spirit guides, with my soul self. And as I did that, it was extraordinary to me how the energies of the earth and sky would come in and support me in that. That is where we are now. We each have this choice to keep coming to center, to really honor and listen to the energies of the earth and sky that I think with phenomenal grace and love and compassion and wisdom, like incredibly conscious parents, are trying to guide us through this transition time. I mean, we had the comet Atlas for 3 weeks in our sky, visible in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, poised in the stars of Ophiuchus, saying, humanity, wake up, heal, come back into balance. I feel like the earth and sky are doing everything they can to help us through this turbulent time. But we have free will. We have a choice. And what I encourage you each to do is constantly be conscious of the choices that you're making in how you honor all that you feel and stay in your own healing journey and process of coming back to center, and choose your actions to be in alignment with these paradigms and this higher consciousness that we're being called into. Are your actions in alignment with love? Are they in alignment with compassion, with peace, with harmony, with that awareness that we're all interconnected and a part of the oneness of all that is, that everything around us, all of the life around us, is conscious and sacred? Or are we aligning with the energies on the planet, the shadow aspects of humanity that are about greed, power over, cruelty, violence, destruction of the earth? It is extraordinary to me. And again, the synchronicities of how the energies of the earth and sky are trying to support us is amazing, is such a confirmation that we are being held and guided and supported. It is remarkable that the Sabian symbol for this upcoming new moon, which you'll hear in my video at 9 degrees of Aquarius, is the phrase, a popularity that proves ephemeral. And the meaning of that is, don't get caught up in power over, in fame, in seeking fortune. Those are the paradigms of the past. They are illusions. They are fleeting. They are dying. Align your heart and soul self with the consciousness of the earth and cosmos, and stand firm in love, peace, a commitment to harmony, and to co-creating a new world together and making this evolutionary leap into Homo luminous ones. This is who we are. This is what we're capable of. This is what all the energies of the ancient wise ones and indigenous peoples and ancient cultures and energies of the galactic beings and the earth and sky are calling us into. Let's call on our spirit guides and helpers. Let's stand fast with and for each other. And in the midst of the storminess, stand for truth, for justice, for love, for harmony. Thank you for listening to this. And now you will hear the beautiful message of hope and love that this new moon is calling us into at the end of this month. Blessings and love to all of you. Greetings to all of you. I want to talk about what will be our first new moon in 2025 on January 29th. And it will come just a few days before the sacred cross-quarter holiday of Imbolc here in the Northern Hemisphere, which is a time for divination, a time to seek guidance and wisdom for the year ahead. And as we're moving into 2025, and this is such, from an astrological perspective, such an accelerated time of change, I think this new moon is an important time to meditate, to do a shamanic journey or divination, to seek guidance for yourself for this coming year, and for us together to set intentions and to hold an energetic for spiritual awakening and healing and transformation on the planet in this powerful time of change that we're in. And I think this new moon is guiding us in focusing our energies and intentions for this coming year. And let me show you the chart. As you can see, this new moon comes at 9 degrees of Aquarius and is a part of a stellium in Aquarius with Mercury and Pluto. I think it's very significant that Pluto is in conjunction with this new moon, guiding us in being in this transformational process to be moving into the age of Aquarius and into these new paradigms and new forms. With Pluto conjunct Mercury, it's supporting us in transforming our ways of thinking, our ways of perceiving. As we're moving into the Aquarian age, we're needing to release the paradigms of the past and the way that we have perceived our reality in this past 2,000 years through the lens of the age of Pisces. As we're moving into this age of Aquarius, we are moving into a new lens, a new energy, a new way of experiencing ourselves and our reality. And Pluto is supporting us in this transformation and in helping us burn away what no longer serves us, the perceptions, the patterns, the projections of the past, to be able to be more open to new ways of being and perceiving our reality. I think it's significant that if you look at how we perceive the world around us from a physical perspective, we are not actually seeing the reality outside of us. Our eyes are taking in bits of information and pattern recognition to perceive what is around us. So our visual perceptions are shaped by our own past experiences, our own sense of patterns and what we recognize around us, and in an even deeper way, from an emotional perspective, we tend to see the world through the mindsets, the lens of our experiences from the past. If we've had a lot of trauma in our early lives, we may tend to see the world through a lens of danger, of not being safe, of anticipating attacks or abuse. We will shape our reality from our own past experience. And I think Pluto, in this powerful conjunction with Mercury, with the sun and moon, is supporting us in burning away what no longer serves us, to see our reality in a different way, and to come more fully from the lens of and perspective of our soul selves, and from that understanding of the Aquarian energy, which is the wisdom coming to us from the cosmos. Remember, this image of the constellation Aquarius is the water bearer pouring the waters, the living waters of wisdom to the earth. As much as we perceive Aquarius as an air sign, I truly believe it isn't about our intellect or our mental functioning, that Aquarius, in its deeper meaning, is about our coming back into awareness that everything is consciousness, everything is living energy. Aquarius, the water bearer, is pouring those waters of wisdom to us here on the earth. And remember that the waters are what hold the memories of the earth. And the water in our bodies holds the memories of our lives, of our ancestral lineage, of this current life experience. I've recently seen a brief video of a portion of an interview that Zach Bush did, where he talks brilliantly about how in our bodies, water is in that fourth phase in which it has this crystalline structure that is holding the memories of our lives. According to Zach Bush, memories don't get stored in our brains. Only short-term memories are stored in the hippocampus in our brains. But long-term memories are stored in the water in our bodies. And the long-term memories of the planet are stored in the waters of the earth. And the memories of our cosmos, of source, of all that is, are held in the waters of the cosmos that are coming to us, guiding us in this time to remember our capacity as humans to open to this deeper level of consciousness, to release the paradigms and patterns of the past, to open to unity consciousness. So as Pluto is transforming us and supporting us in this transition more fully into the age of Aquarius, the North Node is in Pisces, conjunct Neptune and Venus. So how are we meant to be moving into this new age, into these new paradigms? And this combination, in a powerful way, is saying, do it from the heart, from a place of compassion and love. Remember that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. And this is about aligning our love with the love of cosmic consciousness and coming into that connection with our hearts and how our hearts allow us to open to the awareness of the oneness of all that is, Pisces, so that we are moving into paradigms of love and compassion, of peace, of oneness with each other and with all that is. I think it's also significant that Venus is now trining Mars. Mars is retrograde, so it's no longer in its opposition with Pluto, although as it goes direct, it will move back into that opposition again. But Mars is now at 21 degrees of Cancer in collaboration with Venus, allowing us to act from compassion, Cancer, from that place of love and our remembrance of our interconnectedness with each other and with all that is. I think it's significant, too, that the Sabian symbol for Mars at 21 degrees of Cancer is a woman awaiting a sailboat. being able to be in this time of dreaming and uncertainty and staying centered in the midst of it all. We are in a liminal time as we're moving out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, as we're coming to the end of the Kali Yuga, moving into higher consciousness. And Pluto is guiding us in its energy of alchemy to put into the cauldron what we need to release, what needs to be burned away, and to change our ways of thinking and seeing and being to be able to birth these new forms of the Aquarian age. And we're being supported not only in coming from our hearts with love and remembrance of our interconnectedness with each other and all that is, but we're also being supported to be in the dream time, Pisces, to connect with Source, to be open to what needs to be dissolving, what we need to release from the age of Pisces in order to be centered and coming from our hearts with compassion. As we look now at some of the other asteroids and Kuiper Belt objects and healing centaurs that are very active at the time of this new moon, I think it's very significant that 3 of the 4 healing centaurs are actively involved in this new moon time. And Melanie Reinhardt and I just had a wonderful conversation about how powerful the healing centaurs are right now in supporting us in this time of transition and guiding us in a healing process so that we can open to these new paradigms. And it's very significant that Cheroklo is conjunct this new moon, helping us to hold that healing presence of Cheroklo with and for each other. As we're in this turbulent time of transition, there is a lot of chaos and suffering on the planet right now in so many parts of the world. In the Middle East, in Ukraine and Russia, in Myanmar, in Sudan. We've just had the incredible, intense fires in Southern California. And I used to live in that area and have kept in contact with friends there, some of whom have lost their homes, others who have had to evacuate. And the home that I lived in for several years in Altadena has burned to the ground. In the midst of the suffering, it's important for us to take in that energy of Cheroklo, to hold healing presence, love, and compassion for those in pain, and to hold that healing, love, and compassion for ourselves as well as we go through our own challenges and experiences in this turbulent time. It's also significant that Chiron is sextiling this new moon. And Chiron at 19 degrees of Aries, the meaning of that Sabian symbol is the image of a young girl feeding birds in winter. It is about integrating that energy of presence, of compassion, and fearlessness in love. Chiron is supporting us to heal our sense of ourselves, to heal the violence, destruction, and out of balance expressions of Mars, of the age of Aries. Chiron is helping us to be fearless in love as we go through this turbulent and chaotic time of transition, to hold that energy of peace, of centeredness, of love and compassion, to be there with and for each other as we're moving through this time of transition. It's also significant that the healing centaur Nisus is here conjunct Saturn in this stellium in Pisces, which is also guiding us to heal our ancestral trauma and wounds. So much of the turmoil in the world right now, in terms of the violence and the wars and the national and ethnic conflicts, relate to generations of trauma, of conflict, of war. And part of what's critical as we're moving into the age of Aquarius is to heal and release those traumas and those patterns from the past to allow us to move into new ways of being. And it's very significant that this new moon is part of a grand trine with Maki Maki and Jupiter. This is supporting us in moving in new directions, thinking in new ways, opening to new possibilities. Jupiter in Gemini. 2, Maki Maki, be in balance, Libra, in how we are in relationship with the earth and the resources of the earth. We are seeing the earth in her own time of storminess and earth changes and transformation as she herself is healing and moving into these energies of the Aquarian age and higher consciousness. She's in her own ascension process. And it is really important that we be in tune with her, aligned with her, joining in her energy to be moving into this higher consciousness and new ways of being. This new moon is guiding us to remember that the meaning of the Aquarian age is to come back into unity consciousness, to come back into that awareness that we are energy beings having a human experience. We are infinite soul selves here in a journey of evolution of consciousness. And we're being guided out of the paradigms of the past, of separation, of conflict and competition and power over, into the paradigms of the Aquarian age that are about collaboration, are about coming back into community, into connection, moving from I to we, to coming back into right relationship with each other and all of life, and the realization that everything is living consciousness. And we have the capacity, as we're on this profound threshold, to move more and more fully into being homo luminous ones, beings of light. Remember that light is encoded with information. The light coming to us now through the sun in this year of solar maximum is carrying energies from the cosmos and from the galactic center, downloading within us energies to transform our DNA, our ways of seeing and perceiving, to help us move into higher consciousness. Now let me show you where this new moon is in the sky on January 29th. Here you can see the sun and moon at the time of the new moon will be in the stars of Capricornus. And this is the constellation that is seen as the goatfish, that hybrid goatfish. And that comes from an ancient myth coming out of ancient Sumer and is associated with the god Enki, the god of wisdom, the god of the sweet waters, who knows how to move between the worlds, who's come from source, come from the sea in the form of a fish. It changes form to be on the land, to bring wisdom to the people, to go then back to source. This is so emanating through these energies of the sun and the new moon, this wisdom of the cosmos, of source, of the wisdom of the sweet waters, holding the memories of the cosmos that are about our oneness and guiding us to remember that, embody that, emanate that. And Saturn, the ruler of Capricornus, also associated with the god Enki, is here in the stars of Aquarius in the waters of the water bearer pouring to the earth. We are being supported and guided by these energies of the cosmos to allow us to be in those currents of change, being carried into higher consciousness, being carried into that remembrance of unity consciousness, of our being homo luminous ones, beings of light, beings of living energy. And as we claim that, we can claim the gifts of the Aquarian Age, which are new ways of seeing and being, the capacity to become more and more telepathic, to reclaim our psychic gifts, to reclaim those right brain, intuitive, creative ways of knowing. We don't need to continue to idealize technology and left brain ways of knowing. We have the capacity to reclaim our consciousness that guides us into direct connection with the cosmos and our ability to access that wisdom and awareness through the capacity of our consciousness, not through technology. I think it's also significant that Jupiter trining the new moon is here in the stars of Taurus, very close to Aldebaran, the eye of the bull of Taurus. And this is so symbolic of the importance of us aligning with our integrity, with our higher consciousness, with those intentions and principles of love and unity consciousness, to embody them, to be the change we want to see in the world. Going back to this new moon at 9 degrees of Aquarius in the tropical zodiac chart, the meaning of that Sabian symbol at 9 degrees of Aquarius, the phrase for that degree is a popularity that proves ephemeral. It is about realizing that these old paradigms of competition, conquest, power over, seeking fame and fortune are illusions. We've been living in this holographic reality, and the paradigm that we've been in collectively as humanity is about these power over dynamics and paradigms of the patriarchal period. These are ending, and we're realizing we've been living in an illusion of separation, of competition, of the need to be playing out the survival of the fittest paradigm. It is time, with Pluto's support in this cauldron of alchemy and transformation, to release those paradigms, to release that illusion, and to remember, as Gandhi said, we need to be the change we want to see in the world. We need to be the change we want to see in the world. In this turbulent time, there is a lot of suffering on the planet. There is a lot of the shadow aspect of humanity that is coming to the surface to be healed, to be cleared. And these healing centaurs are supporting us in that healing process, individually and collectively. And as we're moving through this time of change, we can be present with and for those who are suffering, those who are in pain. We can bring that compassion of Cheroklo to each other. But we also need to be focusing on how we come to center within ourselves and really honor that heart center, the center chakra, that it is through our hearts that we can align with that wisdom of the cosmos and that awareness that we are moving into higher consciousness, into that energy of love and unity consciousness. In the midst of the turbulence, this is like the phoenix. We're seeing the ashes, literally and figuratively, of old ways of being in the fire of transformation. But out of that fire is rising the phoenix of new life, new ways of being, new ways of seeing. And we need to allow ourselves to be in this liminal time and to be there for those who are suffering in the fires around us and the turbulence around us, but also to see the larger vision of what is arising from the ashes, of what we are supporting and energizing as we're moving into this new age and into higher consciousness and are in our own transformations, in our own transformational process to become beings of light and love and higher consciousness. That is where we're headed. And as we're in this liminal time, let us hold to that vision and energize that and hold that centeredness in our hearts, to hold that love and peace and compassion for ourselves, for each other, for the world. Then our hearts can be in rhythm with the heartbeat of Mother Earth and the heartbeat of the cosmos. Then we remember we are held in that love and wisdom and support of all these energies around us. And then we can trust this journey of transformation that we're in and hold that alignment with our soul selves to be supporting the shifts that we're in and co-creating a new world together. So let us honor this new moon. Let us be in the dream time, dreaming these new ways of being and of seeing, the new lens through which we're perceiving our reality, and to hold that energy of love and peace and compassion within ourselves, to emanate it out into the collective consciousness and to live it out in our daily lives, being the change we want to be in the world, doing what's right in front of us, what is ours to do, to be bringing our energy to support this transformation and movement into higher consciousness and co-creating a new world of peace and harmony and balance and love. Blessings and love to all of you, and blessed be.